What is up, people? Matt here. So today I want to talk about quite an important gaming topic, and that topic is game development time. So why is game development time an important topic? Well, common sense dictates that game development time often equals various qualities in games. For example, if a game has a year less than average game development time, the chances are the game's going to be less than average in quality. If the game has had more than average game development time, the chances are the game is going to be higher than average quality. Now, I've gone through different genres on the general how many years they take at the moment, how many years they should take. I've got by no means any hard evidence. This is kind of my own estimates and opinions on the matters. I haven't done every genre, but I've done the most popular ones, I would say, or at least the most, most popular ones. That's about it, really. So I'm going to start off with games that take the least kind of development time, and work my way up from there. So number one, shooters and sport games. Generally speaking, they only take a year to make. Call of Duty, for example, it comes out every year. Games like FIFA, PES, racing games, they're generally out every single year annually. How many years should they take to be made? Give it another year. I'd say 2 years for the genre there. So every shooter should take 2 years at least. Every sport game again should take 2 years at least, so skip a year, but work on it still. On to the next one, hack and slash games. So like Dynasty Warriors, I like Dynasty Warrior games, all those sort of games. Generally they take about 2 to 3 years to make. How many should they take? 3 to 4. So give it another year maybe, depending on how well it's going, to really kind of perfect it and fill in all the cracks and all the whatever little minor issues there are with it. Just give it a bit more time, not too much, but give it enough more time. Platformers and action. Now this is a bit of a divided one, because in this genres I feel it's all about the game than the actual genre. So platformers, Mario, Mega Man, Castlevania games, I suppose they're platformers. Those sort of games. How many years do they normally take? About 3, depending on what it is. Mario games, 4 maybe. It all depends on the game. How many should they take? 4 years. So if it's taken 3, it should be 4. If it's taken 4, 5. You understand what I mean. Extra year on those sort of games to really add some new features in, or just really make it a nice, good quality game. Now this is where we're getting on to the big ones that generally take more time to make. Western RPGs, Dragon's Dogma, Fallout, Elder Scrolls, all those sort of games. How many years do they generally take? 4 years, sometimes, depending on what the game is, obviously. How many should they take? Give it another year. 5 if it's 4 years to make it. If it's 5 years to make it, give it 6. I think an extra year really does help with these sort of games to really polish it and make sure there aren't any issues with the game. And the final one, which I believe this genre takes the longest to make games in, Japanese RPGs, JRPGs. Now, some of these games can take a long time to make, and some of them don't take so long to make. But overall, I say every Japanese JRPG, 4 years, depending on what it is. Final Fantasy can take more, but normally I'd say around about 4 year mark. How many years should it take? 5 to 6. Now this is where I really do think some of these JRPGs need a 6-year development cycle. Okay, and I know that's a long time to wait, but it really does. These sort of games really need that time to really put the stuff in and get it up to the standard that I think we will hold the genre in. So I mean, let's say, I don't know, let's say Final Fantasy, I don't know, Final Fantasy 16. Let's say Final Fantasy 15 comes out this year. So work on Final Fantasy 16 should start this year. So judging by my estimate, Final Fantasy 16, if we do get a 16, or the next Final Fantasy should come out about 2021. Give or take a year, I think, forward. I don't think it would come out before then, but give it another year. So yeah, I think those are definitely the time they should be taking to make all these games, obviously based on the genre, if the category it falls in. I do think it's becoming quite a common problem that games are being rushed out. It's very clear that they're being rushed out. They should be taking more time on the games, developing them, to prevent the games from coming out completely broken, like the Master Chief Collection, like Assassin's Creed Unity. And also the development time can add a bit more substance to the game to prevent games being only 6 hours long, like the old 1886 apparently. Or it could be a simple case of the extra development time can be used to make the game a bit more interesting, maybe bulk up the story a bit more, add a bit more to the story, because the things that I've been noticing, there's a big trend that's came out this year already. Evolve. What was wrong with that? Apparently there was very little replayability. It was all pretty much the same. Pretty much no story in it at all, because it was a multiplayer only game basically, so not very good there. Order 1886, again, single player only game. People were beating it in 6 to 8 hours or 10 hours at the most. That's not enough for a game. I think you need at least 15, 20 hours, I would say, to make it worthwhile. So the years could be, extra development years could be, racking the game time, replayability. And last but not least, I've done the Evolved, I've done Order, I'm trying to think of the last one that's just come out, Dying Light, that's it. People say the story in that was pretty rubbish, and they were just saying it was just a little bit of a better version than Dead Island. I don't think we should be having that as an acceptable game. It was a little bit better than a worse game. What kind of, what is that? What's that all about? Oh, it was a bit better than the last game. Well, it shouldn't be a bit better than the last game. It should be a lot better than the last game. I didn't like Dead Island at all, really. So the fact that people were saying, oh, it's Dying Light is just a little bit better than Dead Island, is not giving me any, it's not convincing me on it. So they really need to sort that out, to be honest, because I'm not going to be sold on the game just saying, oh, it's a little bit better. But yeah, the moral of the story of this video is game developers need to take more time with their games. Now, okay, I understand the publishers are pretty much in charge and they say to them, look, you've got to get it out by this date. And that's the publisher's fault. But the publishers need to learn, and they need to let the developers get on with it and just make the game good. Because trust me, if the game isn't good, people won't buy it. And if people don't buy it, the developer's losing out and they lose credibility, and the publishers are losing money. So it's a lose, lose, lose for everybody involved. So just take that extra time to make the game more. That's all I can say about this, really. As always, thank you for watching the video, and I will definitely see you on the next video, whenever that is. Bye now.